Hi, I'm Rachel, a practitioner with Mortal Fools, and today we're going to continue looking at resilience. In our last video, we looked at our second building block for resilience, taking an active approach. In this video, Anna focused on us thinking about our stress triggers, or as we called them, our modern day tigers. These tigers might have included things such as the global pandemic, money worries, certain people we work with, persistent bad weather, and homeschooling children. Now we're going to move on to our final building block for resilience, which is recovery time. So in our last video, we asked you to think about our ancient ancestors and their response to close encounters with tigers. So let's do that again. When they had a close encounter with a tiger, they would have retreated to their caves and slept. This allowed their bodies to regulate and rest, and then they would go about the rest of their day. Our brains and our bodies are still designed to work in this way. So if we consider our modern lives by comparison, if we're constantly being triggered by tigers, are we also resting in a cave? Probably not, but we can use this as a useful analogy to plan recovery strategies to help us. So if we think about caves in a modern context, like we did with our modern day tigers, I'm referring to actions or behaviours that help us to regulate and rest when we're overwhelmed with stress. You might find that in our fast-paced society, we often see stress as a sort of badge of pride, but actually it's incredibly important that we give ourselves time to relax. We need this rest time because it gives us time to recharge, time to process our thoughts, and time to heal. To help us explore this idea of caves, in a moment I'm going to ask you to pause this video and find an item that has helped you during the lockdown. This can be something that has helped to bring you comfort or de-stress when you feel yourself being triggered by stress. So, pause the video now to find that item. Welcome back. These items that you've found are great examples of modern-day caves. These modern-day caves are items or actions that help rid us of those symptoms that are brought on by stress triggers. Those symptoms can include sweating, an increased heart rate, prickling or tingling skin, shallow breathing, tensing muscles, or a dry mouth. So to continue to explore this idea of caves, in a moment I'm going to ask you to pause the video again and take 3 minutes to note down some other caves, ways that help you de-stress. It's really important that you do this without judgment. Just list the various ways that help you when you feel overwhelmed with stress. So I've done an example, you can see some of mine here. They include exercise, an online shopping splurge, reading, binge watching a TV show, spending time with friends, spending time alone, and comfort eating. So there's some of my caves, things that help me feel rested and give me time to recharge. Pause the video now and spend 3 minutes on your list. Great. Now that you've done that, I'd like you to consider that not all of our caves are useful. Although these caves may feel comforting and familiar in the short term, they are not useful in the long run. Let's revisit my list for some examples. So if I consider my online shopping splurges, they are unlikely to be useful in the long term. In the moment it feels great, but when I look at the money that I've spent and the items that I've bought that I don't really need, it does nothing for my long-term mental health. Now what I'd like you to do is take this opportunity to revisit your list of caves and cross out any ones that are not useful, leaving only caves that are useful and will help you to de-stress when you find yourself in the path of a modern-day tiger. If you like, you can also do what I've done and see if you can adapt some of your less helpful caves. So instead of binge watching a whole TV series, I could watch an episode or two, and I can make sure that I'm getting a balance between spending some time on my own and spending some time with friends, because both of those are really important for me to be able to rest, recharge, and get on with my day. Pause the video now. From the 2 videos you've watched on resilience, you should now be able to identify stress triggers or modern day tigers. You'll also be able to identify which of these tigers belong in your circle of influence, the things that you can have an impact on, and which should be relegated to your outer circle of concern, the things you cannot change. You should also now be able to identify your caves, where you cope with stress and allow yourself to rest and regulate, and which of these caves are useful in the long run. Thank you for watching.